If you've ever delved in the world of Pokemon ROM hacks, you must have heard that there's a ROM hack infamous for turning Pokemon into a horror game full of zombies, demons, starved chefs, and witches. Welcome to Pokemon Snake, where the world is ending and we are supposed to save it. Our journey begins with us picking our name and waking up to find ourselves abandoned in Little Root Town. In the place where the lab is supposed to be, we find 3 Pokeballs, where we play a little game of deduction where I try to figure out what our starters are. Okay, time for some deduction. So this one has spinning slowly on its own axis. I'm assuming this is a Hitmontop. Okay, I read this with exhaust fumes, so Slugma? And this would be air of ill health and coughing. Okay, so Hitmontop, Slugma, and coughing. Which am I taking? Alright, so air of ill health. Nah, I don't want a coughing. Let's take Macargo. After stealing our starter, we leave the town where we find the professor being harassed by a zombie. After we defeat the zombie, the professor takes us to Oldale Town for safety. After ensuring our safety, the professor hands us an egg by stealing it from its nest and sends us off to search for Landon and May. On our way to Petalburg, we encounter a rather peculiar NPC. After battling her, she introduces herself as Alicia and leaves. Yes, just leaves. Upon reaching Petalburg, we stumble upon a corpse, and because looting the dead is apparently fair game, we steal its leftovers. Yeah, if you find that morbid, well, let's just say this happens a lot. As we explore further, a man heroically sacrifices himself for us, and we respond by completely ignoring his noble deed and casually strolling back into the city. That's when we make an interesting discovery. See this crate right here? Yeah, every time we interact with this, it gives us a free potion. So naturally I stood there, grabbed as many as I could and sold them. Leaving Petalburg, I catch 5 Zigzagoons with the ability Pickup. Now you may be asking why. So since Pickup has a very low chance of getting rare candies for us, which we can use to level up if we need to. Yeah, I think I got like 10 max from this, so it was quite useless. After that, we move through Petalburg Woods, where we banish a demon back into the underworld and also loot a stone badge from its body. Entering Rustboro, we defeat Alicia and notice someone controlling a zombie. So we follow them and discover that Blaze is actually a friendly individual who wants to stop the demon invasion. After proving our worth to him, he lets us help in his plan. In Rusturf Tunnel, Blaze explains that the Cutman's daughter is being used as a medium to summon demons. So while he removes the spell that's causing their appearance, we hold back the invading creatures. That guy is a Gyarados. Once the ritual is broken, the demons disappear and Glaze leaves. Continuing through the tunnel, we encounter Alicia again, this time accompanied by Pestilence, who is one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. After defeating them in a battle, we head on towards Endless Plains, where we obtain the HM for Cut. While leaving, Professor Birch calls us and tells us to head towards Dewford, while our egg hatches into another egg. Moving north from Rustboro, we steal a Magikarp holding the HM for Surf from an unfortunate soul, and meet the last remaining trainer of Petalburg Gym, whom we defeat in a battle, and she gives us the Balance Badge that allows us to surf to Dewford. After surfing to Dewford, we enter the gym where the gym leader tells us to go inside Solar Cavern. Inside the Solar Cavern, we capture a Makuhita and an Abra along the way, and at the end of the cavern, we meet Meteor, the Dragon King. So now we can go into the gym and battle the gym leader, where this, how do I even say it? Where something really funny happens. Yeah, I still have no clue how this happened at all. I still lost, but the egg evolved into another egg again. So I evolved Coughing into a Wheezing, and on the second try we beat the gym leader Haruko and move towards Slateport. Heading towards Slateport, Makuhita evolves into Hariyama, and in Slateport we find out that it is the domain of famine. So everyone is hungry as we see starved chefs running around. We enter the shipyard and jump down into a submarine whose name I am incapable of pronouncing, and meet Usher, who wants us to fix the submarine. So we obtain the Arclight Spanner. This item took me around 30 minutes of running around to find, and fix the engine. So Usher leaves us in Route 110. From there we head towards Mauville, where we find out that the Inquisition has taken over the government and are now hunting for Glaze. Glaze tells us to move towards New Mauville, and so we do. Inside New Mauville, we find out that there has been a murder of someone, and we have to put on our detective caps and find out who committed the crime. So using our detective skills, we find out the culprit to be Watson, and when confronted, he brings out a level 100 Luxray and wipes us. But we just close the generator and the big bad Luxray becomes a tiny little cinch. So we then finish him off and he runs away but gets arrested in the process. Inside the Mauville gym, we find an Inquisition footman stealing gym badges. He also tells us that Glace has been captured and is held in their base. So after we beat him up, he runs off to the Isle of Calms and we follow right behind him. Right after leaving our Magikarp in the daycare and capturing a Calfbee and a Vulpix. Inside the Isle of Calm, we capture a Ralts and a Curlia right after, and then we go into this annoying cave. That's not the name of the cave, but it is so annoying. Every single time you enter the cave and exit, it takes you to the same exit, so you have to make a round trip every single time. Inside this annoying cave, we find the Deadly Seven, which are actually 10 people, so we beat them up and their leader tells us that there's a secret switch on the sign at the start of the island. So we press the button, which takes us to their base. And what do I see there? An invisible maze. That also takes me to the start if I step on the wrong tile. After completing the tile maze, we move on to another room, which was not that bad, just level 5 enemies, and on the next room, I entered the wrong door and it moved me to the start of the annoying caves again. I would play the clip of me raging, but I was so pissed that I did not speak a single word. So after doing the entire base again, we move on towards the teleport pads. So after the teleport pads, the next room was just a dark room, which was very easy. And finally, we move to the room where Glace is held hostage. So we surf on lava and rescue him. As thanks, he gives us the HM for Rock Smash. After getting the HM for Rock Smash, we can move on forward to the desert where we beat up an orc and receive the Brainling, which is the XP share for this ROM hack. And immediately after getting the XP share, I started leveling up my 5 Zigzagoons. Even though in Pokemon Ruby that this ROM hack is based on, the pickup rates are not really dependent upon the level of Pokemon. And that was a waste of time. But right after that, we find Famine and he tells us that he has captured our brother and May, and he leaves telling us that we are funny when we are angry. Then Birch calls us and tells us that we need to head to the mountain monastery and meet a guy called Kanzaki. So we leave the desert and head into the monastery just to be told to go back into the desert and help Sage Izumi. After going back into the desert and capturing the Aerodactyl, we move back into the monastery just to be told, hey, now you need to go to the mountain peak. After reaching the top of Mount Chimney, we meet the leader of the Inquisition, Chloe, who tells us that Glace has been lying to us and she invites us to the main base of the Inquisition. After that, we climb the tower. I do not have any clue of the importance of this tower at all. But our Calfbee evolves into a Miltank during it. Yeah, I was hoping for a cool little Fakemon evolution, but it was disappointing. At the top of the tower, we also meet the Elder, who quite literally does not say much. He just gives us a Vespa. And also our egg evolves into, again, another egg. Continuing onwards from the desert, we head towards Fall Arbor Town, where we meet up with Alicia, who tells us that the horsemen have their base inside Meteor Falls. Here I had a really bad thought. Is this some kind of trap? I just feel like this is a trap. Like they want to capture me. Like they want to capture me and just like imprison me. This just feels like such an elaborate actual plan. That's a plan I'd think of. Trees, Iron Slam, so probably Body Slam, right? Or Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam, probably. Need more damage, so... Yeah. Yep. We were set up. We were absolutely set up here. So yeah, we get lied to and we run away by jumping into the water and we drop into the submarine again. Yeah, this submarine is also a reoccurring character. Here we are told to fix the elevator, for which I ran around elevator for such a long time and I could not figure out how to do it. So I just googled it and... Okay, I finally figured it out. Okay, what we are supposed to do here is... Do you want to know? So, what you have to do this is so stupid. Why the would you have to do this anyways? First you have to go down, right? And catch a Magnemite. and put the Magnemite in your team. I don't know, for now, yeah, whatever, switch. So with that, now you go to here. Yeah. And that's how you're supposed to do this. This is such an annoying thing, man. How was I supposed to figure it out anyways? After this, we get dropped off in Fortress City, and since there's nowhere else to go, we head towards the Weather Institute, where we find that Glaze has Meteor's daughter, so we take custody of the Dragon Egg, and we move along to find Meteor. Moving south, we find an NPC called Dr. Blackthorn who tells us to head towards Moss Deep to find Meteor. Heading onwards, we find these people called T-Fangers who are from the Denju world. I thought these were Fakemons, but no, they are from a separate game called Mobile Phone Beast Telefang, which I had no clue existed. It seems that these T-Fangers were sent to our world, so we tell them that we will help them and head into Mount Pyre. We find Timulence, and after beating him, he supposedly closed the link between the two worlds. Heading towards the Fortress Gym, we find and meet Dr. Blackthorn, who gives us the Astral Lens that allows us entry into the city by removing the witch that is guarding the entrance. Since the gym leader is not currently present in the gym, we move to the academy where we find him, and he tells us to deal with a homicidal camera, which we do by capturing it and adding it to our party. After leaving the academy, we enter the gym to find out that Winona has been turned into a zombie and Veracity, the gym leader, was protecting her. So we use the sacred swords by ourselves and slice Winona, putting an end to her misery since her brother was unable to do so. Moving towards Lilycove, we find and capture a Cyndaquil, and in Lilycove we battle the Deadly Seven. At this point, I finally decide to Google what Hyper Egg is, and I find out that it can evolve into an Unknown with a Moonstone, Raikou with a Thunderstone, Entei with a Firestone, Suicune with a Waterstone, and a Celebi with a Leafstone. I wanted Suicune, so I did not evolve the Hyper Egg, but later on I evolved it into an Entei since I could not find Waterstone. Here Chloe tries to remove us from the world. It seems in this game everyone wants to kill us. So the dragons come to our aid and take us to Moss Deep, where we return the Dragon Egg to Meteor, and he gives us the HM for Fly. After we challenge the Dragon Hall, Burst calls us to tell us that Lilycove has been run over by zombies. So we fly over to Lilycove, and at the top of the Lilycove department store we meet Senex, who is behind everything that has happened till now, and he wants our eyes, and he would do anything to get them. After defeating him, we get the HM for Dive and get told to complete the Elite Four before we enter Senex's lair in Sutopolis. So we power through the Victory Road along with the Elite Fours Caitlyn, Benny, Glacia, Indigo, and the champion Feng Li. After becoming the champion, we get a call from Birch telling us to look for a tunnel in Lilycove. Continuing onwards, we find and capture Luca Zamon and meet the manly hero. Yeah, that's his title. And this guy is level 100. So after a lot of resets, he finally gets defeated, and we find that there's no way to get into Sutopolis from the Lilycove Museum. After wandering around aimlessly for a while, I find out where I'm supposed to go, and it's the sewers, where I get captured by Glaze, and he puts this zombie to guard us. This zombie has 2 level 100 Fakemons. I think this was supposed to be a scripted loss, but after winning, the zombie kicks us in the face and knocks us out. We wake up in Pacifalog Town, where Dr. Blackthorn tells us that he rescued us and tells us we need to learn how to fight from Isao. So we head into Isao's gym, where after getting our teeth knocked off for a while, I give up and Google how to do this puzzle, where I find this entire walkthrough by Rainbow Kara X from 9 years ago. So from then onwards, whenever I got remotely stuck anywhere, I just pulled up this walkthrough. Thank you, Rainbow Kara X, for your service. So after beating him, he tells us to head for Sunday's-Rock. At Sunday's-Rock, let me be honest, I did not understand a single reference in this clip at all. While leaving, we call Dr. Blackthorn, and he calls us to Cassidy Rock, and after reaching Cassidy Rock, he teleports us to Sutopolis through magic. He also gives us a Toxicroak, whom I immediately add to the team. From Sutopolis, we finally enter into Senex's lair and go through various puzzles, this jumping one being the first. I'll just play a sped up version of it for you to watch. Okay, fine. I think I did it. Oh my god, I have to do it again. Why? And in the next room, we finally release our brother Landon and May. and also the Trickmaster. Notice how there's one more person we have left to release? Yeah, my friend, that is Wally. And it seems the hack creator hates him. The ROM maker has some generational hatred against Wally, it seems. And on the third room is a half-invisible mage, which I was not gonna figure out, so I used the walkthrough. Okay, I was never gonna figure this one out without the tutorial. And then we do some annoying quizzes where I brute force every answer. So a fun thing about this quiz room is that it takes you to the start every single time you get an answer wrong.
I swear all the puzzles in this game were made to infuriate people.
At the top of Necropolis, we defeat Senex, and as he tries to erase us from the world, Asimov, the leader of the Deadly Seven, saves us. Being cornered, Senex decides to bake a cake and destroys the entire world. But with the power of references that I did not understand any of, we defeat Senex again and return Hoenn back to how it was. So we throw a party in Gem Island, and in this glitchy room we find Senex again. So we defeat him for the last time. I don't even want to catch this guy now. I hope this is the end, because I am not playing anymore. I am done. So long. I don't want to play even a second of it anymore. So, goodbye.